What's up, y'all? I'm gonna have to keep moving up to hit the button, the wave. Hello. So we got one person on so far. It's hit or miss on how many getting on. What's up, Fahad? So there's one of the guys I used to run with in that group I told you about. And we all help each other in the fitness world. What's up, Jules? At the shore. That's cool. Are you here in Tampa? Do you know that person?
No, I don't. No? Which, at the shore, are you in Tampa? Jules?
A question. Can you guys hear us well? Because we're outside. I'm at a distance away from the camera that I'm not typically at. I can't tell. It's seeable that well. I didn't really think about that. The light should be on my face. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. So I'm really excited. So this is really cool how everything happens. Probably like a week ago. You're good if you need any of that too. This is like free flow. So first and foremost, where are we at right now?
Deli Dose in South Tampa on Gandy Street between Times and McDill.
This place is awesome. Good food.
Great
food. Coffee house. Lots of good stuff here.
Yeah, you could come, read a book, have a meeting. It's like
inside or outside?
Upscale Starbucks, there I'll say. What food?
Local coffee shop. It says DD Coffee House and Eatery. That's their website. DD Coffee House and Eatery.com for Daily Dose. Yeah, so it's crazy how things happen. I say crazy, like we both believe that everything definitely happens for a reason too. Like we met probably a couple weeks ago. We both one of the few nights I actually went out. Like I never go out. I happened to be out that night, and we just ran into each other in the bathroom. Actually, You said something about bartering, and that's where my heart's at. You know, I understand bartering's where it's at. I just got a DM from someone today who might end up popping on. You know, looking at you guys see me talking about meat, like local grown, like was it pasteurized on this call? When I get to wander, and you know, there's a difference. You know, the food that you eat and how it gets to where it's at. So he was talking about bartering. That's why I brought it up, because that's where my heart's at, is understanding that bartering's not dead. You literally, like, just because you don't have the money for something doesn't mean you can't offer a service still. Like you can trade, and that's for us. Like I heard you say that you offered the gentleman compensation because you didn't have cash on you at the time.
Yeah.
You offer him compensation for something else in trade for, and it's that mindset. It's knowing that I might not be able to give this, but I can still offer something. That's when we initially met, and we just started talking. Like, man, we think a lot alike. Like business, you know, there's a lot of success it leaves clues, but it's universal. You know, like a lot of the same things that you did in your past. We're not going to talk much about it. There's actually a professional athlete who used to play basketball. Is it called the European League?
Yeah, in Europe. I played in different leagues, but not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
It's free flow.
So, actually, to go a little bit in depth of the story, how we met, Ashley was out, didn't want to be out, but had a good feeling about coming out. Went to the bathroom, attended the bathroom. I didn't have cash to pay him, but I always believe if someone's doing something or working, you leave compensation. So I offered him a beverage, and this guy says bartering is dead. So right then, like minds, like energy formed. Went outside the bathroom, just talk business and everything, and so it's like someone that I've known all my life. Actually.
I hear that often. Maybe we have. You never know. We need to dig deeper into things. No, it was really cool because he gave me his card. He told me to hit him up, and there's a lot of people, like, I can't tell you, like, driving for Uber, I literally pick up people all the time. They're like, hey, we should stay in touch, and we don't. I get busy, they get busy, like things don't happen. But we did. Because I really believe in what you're doing. Like, you're also a publisher, and that's really what I want to talk more about today. You own a publishing company here in Tampa. Are you like based here somewhere in Tampa, or are you like kind of free from? Like, do you actually have a building? Someone asked me that recently. I don't know. That's a good question. So how does that work for you? Break it down. What's up, Brian?
have a small building, but the way to think, this we're in the best times of our lives, the best place in history, time and place in history. So actually having a building as a publisher isn't really necessary because you freelance. I contract out, my business contract out a lot of the work, so we don't really need a homestand. We like to cut down on the overhead, so in that way it goes more into the marketing side, the other aspects of running a business. And I also believe that when you contract out, you're dealing with people that actually have a passion for what they're doing instead of being somewhere for 8 to 10 hours waiting on a job. It gets boring. We're in sunny Florida, and people like to be outside. So why be inside a building if you don't have to be? So
that's so true. What's up, everyone jumping on? Zippy Shell. That's cool. Here in Tampa. But yeah, I'm super stoked. We talked a little bit about Instagram. That's kind of more my wheelhouse. I understand, analytics. I understand where people come from. I understand how to get more traction out of every post that you do. Thank you. So that's how one of the things that we started talking about, and I did a poll of your entire, just the last 100 posts. Like, you have a ton of posts. It's so easy to pull from. Because I say it, you guys hear me say this, if you follow me on it to any capacity, the data tells a story. If you study, if you look, and you ask the right questions, you'll get the right answers. And that's what I was able to find from your Instagram account. It's cool to see the things we put in place. It's not overnight change, but we are seeing some areas already increasing more likes.
Yes.
You're seeing so many people think when you post that your whole network sees what you post. It's actually not accurate. What's up, Neil?
Hello, how you doing? I would just like to, jump in. I would just say the week maybe of him analyzing my Instagram. My page has improved a lot. I have, not to knock anyone out there that I've worked with, but I have worked with several social media managers and just they didn't give the insight that Jeff has been given.
Hello again.
So, I just like to point that out. I think in the last few days I've acquired 100 followers, which is it's crazy.
So we're not cheating. We're doing it the right way.
Yes.
It's real people. It's people that care about what you're doing. And the thing is, what we figured out how to do was how to reach that network. We didn't do anything special. What we did was we learned how to speak to the people that already followed you, but also how to reach, how to put you in front of more people. And we did it the right way. I've used a lot of other programs out there as well. And again, not knocking them either, but the problem is too many people come up with cookie cutter solutions. Every person is different. Every business is different. I have different businesses that don't actually respond the same. I do different things for each account. My fitness account responds totally different from the Tampa's Ultimate Guru account. And that account, even though it's very similarly aligned with this one, it responds even differently than this one does. I was telling you this the other day. There's categories, right? A lot of people, I ask them what their niche is, and they're like, "Oh, it's fitness." No. That's a section. That's an industry. A niche would be single moms, or busy professionals, or CrossFit could be considered a niche. It's very fine-tuned and very specific. Like I told you, you don't get to choose your niche. I mean, you can dictate it if you're CrossFit. That's kind of the people you pull in. But a lot of times your niche finds you. When I say niche, a lot of people call it niche, but you call it whatever you want. I'm pretty sure the word is a derivative of France, and they pronounce it niche. So you know what? One in France, one in Rome. But yeah, I love analytics. I love that stuff. I didn't really study it. So my heart was learning your business, learning what you do, and learning how to share your story more effectively. And that's really where we're getting to. So I just get to be a piece of the puzzle. I just a piece of that journey.
A huge piece, because I would say a lot of people Hopefully you can hear us. But a lot of people are focused on the numbers, like the followers, and it's more about the engagement and impressions, as he actually explained to me. Because what I was doing, and what a lot of people told me was, you just want to get large numbers, like go after everyone that you can. Well, as he just said, you have to find your niche, and with the example he uses was fitness. Like some of my hashtags was just fitness, but he broke it down to there's so many areas into fitness. Same thing as publishing. Like you might have, we call them genres. You might have a non-fiction genre, fiction genre, and then there's different things under those genres. Fantasy, suspense, drama, etc., etc. So it's about what you're focusing on, and that helps a lot. So, I mean, I'm no expert. That's that guy right there.
And a lot of people ask me, like, it's funny, like I pick up, I drive for Uber and Lyft, and I pick up people that went to college and have a degree in this, and they're like, I have no idea. How did you learn all this stuff? I'm like, well, two-part. One, I'm always studying, but two, like, I don't know, like, some of it does lend to how I'm wired and how I think. And like I ask questions. I don't question. I ask questions. There's a difference. A lot of people will question, and that that's only going to go so far. But with what you're saying, I don't know. Like really, what I want to turn more towards is like for you, how. So you have a publishing company. How did that come about? Because you're an author too, right?
I'm an author. I'm a speaker. So my main page, this is me. That's my brand. Vid Buggs is my brand. And but my company, my publishing company is actually the number 4 dash U dash neat.
Is it dashes or underscore?
Dashes.
Okay.
Or on Instagram is underscore, but the company is dashes.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. Anyway, it came about because of writing was my outlet while I was playing basketball and everything, and then people said I should put out a book. So I went through ways of putting out a book. I had several big-time publishers that wanted to sign me, but when I looked at the contract, it just wasn't for me. I didn't believe in giving up my rights or my manuscript. Yes. Once you usually sign a contract to a publisher, they own everything. They can tell you, say when it's coming out, if it's coming out, if it's not coming out. They own typically they own the manuscript. So then I went the self-publishing route, and with the self-publishing route, I found out how much money is needed to find adequate editors, not just one editor. I could get into that later, but you need a group of
valuable
editors.
insight for me as well.
You need a group of editors, cover design, etc., etc. So I thought, here I was able to make it happen. But what about the people that's not able to make it happen because of finances, or they don't know what to do? And so I created for unique publishing for those people. And also, you get higher royalties when you publish through us, because naturally, most traditional publishers only give you 5 to 10% of what you made, or what the book sells, or whatever. And I believe if you put blood, sweat, and tears into something, you should get at least half the pie, not majority of the pie. And that's just my thoughts. And also, continue. I never want to take anyone's publishing. We say, because publishing in the record industry and book industry is important. That's control. That's how you have different movies and people who get to do different songs and things. Just do the publishing. So if you don't want a movie about the book that you wrote, that's your choice. It shouldn't be my choice or this other publisher's choice. It's your choice. And so we never take ownership of the publishing.
That's really cool. See, this is reasons why we line up. Like, first off, I didn't know any of that stuff. Second off, that's really good to know going into it now. Now I at least have an outlet. So I bounce some ideas off. Hey, should I do this? Should I? Like, if I write a book, like you already got me, and you don't know that, but you got me. So it's just, I mean, like I believe in doing business where you live. You know, we've already established a relationship. Like, I don't know anybody else, so for me to go outside of you, like, unless there's a showstopper that I see, like, I don't know, I don't know anything else. You know what I mean? Like, and we've developed a relationship, so that's where it should stay. But I didn't even know that stuff. I was curious. I've always wondered, like, how much. I know it's general because every book is different, audiences are different, but like I've always been curious, like how much people make a book, like when they write a book. And again, I'm not asking for it because I know it changes. It depends on the genre, depends on the name, probably. It depends on the publishing house. I'm sure it depends on the type of what the material falls under, how interested people are. Like, I don't know the industry well enough, but I know how things work well enough that I can. Am I off on that, or is that pretty?
That's pretty accurate.
That's some variables that would indicate.
Yes. For instance, as a book, poetry books doesn't do well as fantasy. You know, but as to
K West, is that Kanye? Kanye?
Hello, but if you're gonna make money off of a book, it's definitely marketing. You have to have marketing. That's it. That's the main point. It don't matter if you
I have an idea. Why don't we market your people? Like as like your publishers, like the authors and stuff. Let's put some of that stuff up. I'll do it free for a while, and then we'll figure out how that works like down the road.
Yeah.
Maybe free, and then a portion on the back end. Maybe we'll figure that out. Yeah, that's what's up. That just hit me as you said that. I didn't even think about that.
So it's about marketing, and any publisher that says they're going to do all the marketing, lying. Because you're your own brand. No matter if you're an author, a speaker, whatever you do, a model, you're your own brand. You have to market yourself. So marketing plays a huge part of your book sales. And then I always, when I talk to aspiring authors, I ask what is their goal with this book? Is it just to put it out? Because if you put a book out just to put it out, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're not going to make a huge impact. But if you put it out with a goal, one of my editors told me before my first book ever came out, said, you're publishing a book is the best business card you can ever have. Because once you publish a book, people see you as an expert. So,
what's up, Pickerington?
What putting out a book allowed me, I'll give you my story, to have more validity in having a publishing company, which I get I get speaking engagements because I'm an author. I get more business, to talk to other authors because they've been, lack of a better term, screwed by a publisher or need someone that knows. So they'll come over to publish or edit or whatever. So it's all about what you want your book to do or your writings to do. So if you personally, I tell you this, a book can help any business out.
The good news is, working on an ebook. Actually, I wrote this down at 4 a.m. this morning. It's my secret time frame. I'll just leave it at that. That's when all my best ideas come. After an entire night of driving and other stuff. What's up, John?
What's up, John?
Yeah, I put a timestamp because it's good to have goals, but have a goal with a deadline. That's a talk I heard once in the morning. Have a goal with a deadline. Otherwise, it's just a wish, an aspiration. Put a deadline on it, now you're moving towards it. So my goal by the end of July, I'm going to put time in every single day, a couple hours in, chugging along. I'm going to put together an ebook. I think it's probably 2 or 3 pages, nothing too crazy.
Goes through well, by the way.
Really? Okay, well, we're going to talk. I don't even have a template. I'm just going to put something together. Like my thoughts, you guys get a little heads up on the ebook. It's going to be The 9 things I learned in the process of breaking 10K accounts on Instagram. I'm trying to figure out the wording. I'm not afraid of it being too long because the ebooks really have to like speak to what the topic is about. At least in this industry, as far as what we're doing here, the ebook's just a piece of the puzzle. On the back end, I'm going to put together an entire webinar. The webinars and then basically teach people how to create the book that I made for you, the playbook. So, and that thing, I've said it, that's worth its weight in gold. Like that thing, like if let me ask you a question. You're a business owner, whoever's watching this, let's say you're a business owner, and you want to know if you're gonna I talk about ROI, right?
Yes.
I say it, when I drive for Uber, I wanna make the most dollars per hour that I can make if my butt's in the seat. Why? If I'm gonna be out there anyway, why not maximize it? Same thing. How can I get the most traction, the most, overall change from the little things that I do, getting the mileage out of everything. Like once I went to a Need to Breathe concert with a close friend of mine. She might hop on at some point, and I got VIP tickets. Why? Because I feel like if you're gonna do something, get the mileage out of it. When are you gonna go back? We get to go backstage. We get to listen to them. Like there's probably like 5 different bands that all get to play. This is like her favorite band. And she got to listen to like 5 bands within that, sing to about 20 of us behind the scenes before the show even started. And then we got up closer too. I think there was a rainstorm or something like that, and we were underneath cover. And like there was so many intangibles from that. So same thing with dang, I'm losing my train of thought on that. So putting out the Instagram, the book on that, it's how do I help as many people at one time as I possibly can? I think I went off on topic.
ROI, right? Well, while you gather your thought, something I always say is, and I have a short ebook on it called Getting Out of the Dark, How to Have a Life Full of Success, Wealth, and Happiness.
See, long title, but it says everything you need.
Yeah, and it's about, I think, maybe 10 pages long, ebook pages, which is really like 5 written pages. But it talks about time, all right, time management. You never get time back, all right?
Nope.
So you're either spending time, which is equal to wasting time, or you're investing in time. So when you're investing in time, you're getting something back. Yes,
It's a huge investment.
Yes, you're getting something back. You're not going to get your time back, but you're getting something back. When you waste time, you don't get anything from it. So when you pick up a book to learn, or
100%.
or have a lightened conversation, it's an investment. You're learning. You're gaining something. When you're just wasting time talking, gossip, let's just say that, that's not making your life better. It's a short-term enjoyment, I guess, for some, but that's the time waster. So I think that's what I like it goes hand in hand from what you talk about with the ROI.
ROI, return on investment. If that's not a common word, I learned it because like if I'm going to do something, I want to get and it comes down to posting. I think that's where I was going with that. If you're going to post, why not reach the most number of people? I said this earlier, misnomer. However, look at your account right now. Do you have 300 followers? That's the average number. Do you have 1,000? Do you have 5,000? 10? 20? I'm sitting at 20,000. You're sitting at 1,200. I reach 2,000 people per post. You reach about 400. Out of the two of us, he has a better ratio. Of his audience, he's reaching more of them. You think when you post that you're reaching everybody that follows you. What's up, Dylan? You think when you post that everybody that follows you sees it. It's not true. So my best post of all time, when I went from having like a ZZ Top or Duck Dynasty beard, I shaved it. I had like 700 likes out of that. I look at the engagement, it reached, it's a weird number, but 6,661 eyeballs. So reach, there's a difference. Impressions are how many times it's seen for at least 3 seconds. Reach is how many different sets of eyeballs have seen it. So I reached, nearly 7,000 people, but I have 20,000 followers. I don't, 13,000 followers of mine have still never seen that post. That follow me have still never even, come across it. So, yes, and it's because two things. I would say, at the moment you break 5,000 followers, if you don't have okay, we'll go the other route. Let's say you attach your account to a Facebook account. Instagram sees you as potentially being able to monetize now. You've tied it to an account that suggests that you might be trying to build a business. So they said, okay, well if that's the case, so stupid. I'm automatically going to limit the number of people that will see it because I want you to pay me for you to reach more of your access, your network, which I think is stupid. There's another account out there. You guys might actually hear me start talking about it more soon because I'm gonna go ham on it. It's an Instagram where there's no algorithm. Yeah. It's a little crazy. So the downside to it, once you create an account, you can never delete it. So there's a trade-off there. But let's be real. In today's world, you're not deleting anything anymore. Nothing's deleted for good. It's all out there. So I talk about, running. When I post, right? If I'm only reaching 10%, you're reaching 33%. If I can keep you at 33% and grow, right? Let's say you only have 6,000 followers. You're doing better. Yeah, you're good. You're doing better with 6,000 followers at 30% than I'm doing with 20,000. People think it's the number. It's not. It's the engagement number. It's the reach. That's what one of the things in the Excel spreadsheet that I created was a ratio. Here's the number. Here's the column for reach. Here's the column for engagement. Right, total engagement, and I can actually do a one-on-one, one-to-one comparison. That people don't think about. They see the numbers there, but until you start putting one against the other, you don't know that stuff. So that's why I love. You talk about ROI, you talk about intangibles. That's the stuff people don't realize. So, but yeah. So, what your book? What was the title of it again?
The first one is called "You Ain't Hungry Till I'm Starving," right? And that's
I saw that recently.
It's actually a bestseller. It's won awards.
I'm sitting with the rock star.
I get to brag a little bit. A magazine has ranked it in the top 12 books to read to get back into reading, and other books that was on the list were The Alchemist, which is one of my all-time favorites, The Hobbit, The Shining, Alice in Wonderland.
What thing is
It's another book. It was a lot of classes up there, so it was an honor to actually be on that list. And the book is on different aspects of life. We stay motivated, how to go through different things in this world and stay motivated, and keep things in perspective. And then my other book is Vid Buggs.
Yeah.
Daily Vitamins for the Soul. It's just get a quote a day.
Keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, it's just motivation.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Stay positive.
Yeah, and I never call my writings motivational. They are, but when you're going through something, you don't want to hear. Yeah, you don't want to hear certain things. So I say my writings are reality writings, because if you're being lazy, and I know you have the potential to grow and be the person you need to be, but you're being lazy, and I tell you need to get up and get out the bed, you might not want to hear that at that moment. That's not as motivating at that moment. But when you look back on it, it is motivating, but it's, so I always have things, I put things into the now part of things, so you might not want to hear what I say or read what I write. It might not, like I said, it's not as inspiring or motivating to you, but it's something that you need. It's, putting it in perspective, and we talked about it. I'm big on discussion. I think we can learn so much through discussing things with people that actually aren't like-minded.
Find people that are different than you, because you learn a tremendous amount from people that are outside of your circle, because like you only know what you know, right? And like you have experiences I don't. I've been to Europe, but for me it was different. It was each country was like 3-4 days at a time. And you've spent some solid time over there. You got to know a culture a lot differently than I have, and you also come from. We connect somewhat on Virginia. Because you're out there, but like you were in a world I never was exposed to. So we have different experiences, and I say this all the time. Like your opinions are based on your experiences that you had, right? I can't tell you that your opinion's wrong. So many people want to like argue and like fight, and go to this crazy level, but like you're both right. It's your opinion based on your experiences of the circumstances in your life, but. We talk about facts, like go back and find facts together. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like I agree. People need to talk more. You need to talk to people and talk to more people different than you. Like outside of your tribe. Find people outside of that because you'll get a different perspective. But have an open mind. Be willing to understand that person comes from a different experience. We don't always agree on it. I mean, we pretty much agree on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but there's going to come a time
there is. There's going to be something that we disagree on because why? We're human. We're different. We're created differently. We're not going to have this, and that's by design. Like we're supposed to feel things differently.
Exactly.
You have passions that I don't. I have passions that you don't. And we can still help each other along the journey. You might add a little water to a seed that's already cultivated. It might be harvest time for you, and I might have said something that triggered that. Like we all be willing to go outside your box.
Yes, you have the mind frame that it's okay to agree to disagree. The biggest thing with the difference between a discussion and an argument is discussions is talking and agreeing or disagreeing without putting negative emotions into it. An argument is opinion based, and then you put negative emotions into it. Your pride and your ego gets into it. A discussion, we're trying to learn.
Trying to get famous.
I did.
You want an Instagram shout out?
I gotta get my spot.
So that's the difference, But yeah, I mean, it's cool to be around like-minded people. That's people that's gonna help you also on your journey. But to change the world, your situation, business, etc., you have to go outside your box. You have to talk to or be around other people that aren't exactly like you.
Yep. What's up, Ricky?
What's up, Ricky? Chef. Oh, it's Chief. Sorry.
Hey, Chef.
Chef. Yeah, I was right. I can read, I promise you.
So I asked the question, what did you think you learned in the process of writing like your first book to your second? Like, what do you think changed for you? Like you obviously you went through it the first time, so the second was probably a little smoother. But what do you think you learned that other people could gain from the process? How long did it take you to do your first one?
Well, the first and the second, actually the second one is actually the first one. But it was just put out. They were supposed to be together.
Ah, okay.
But for me, it was a 7-year thing for both. That's because from 2003 to 2007, I wasn't focused on putting out a book. They were just my writings, my innermost writings. However, when I started writing for a book, I'm going to have another book coming out later this summer. What I've learned was, one, it's okay to be vulnerable, right? But
too many people are afraid of that these days.
Yeah, it's okay to be vulnerable because the thing is, I go back to what one of my first teachers told me. If you have a question, ask it. People might laugh, but I guarantee you that someone else in the classroom had that question. All right? So You're writing, be passionate about what you're writing or whatever you do. Passion is energy. If you have passion, people will follow you. People will read you. People will buy from you. It's all about passion, all right? So write with passion. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Because, again, it's people that's going through things similar to what you're going through.
Relate to it.
Or relate, even if you write fantasy books, right? It's truth in everything, right? Like they say with a joke, it's some truth in a joke. So those fantasy books, it's some truth there. It might have not happened yet, but you can use that in your life to kind of put things in perspective. So, that's what I've learned. I know there's two minor things, but like when I write now, I'm not afraid to who's going to think about this, that, and this, right? It's going to reach whoever it needs to be reached.
I love, I have a hard time finding time. We all have time. I have a hard time dedicating time to reading. I have been lately because I've gotten some books I just can't put down. And that's big too. Find stuff that you're interested in. That'll help you read more. But here's the thing. I heard this once. Let's see. I forget which country it was. There's an Asian guy on a YouTube video that broke down something so profound. He said his dad called books soldiers in his army. And what he means by that is every book, if you're reading a Warren Buffett book, if you're reading a John Maxwell book, if you're reading a J.K. Rowling, Tolkien, there's so many, what's the guy from my state, from Maine, Stephen King. You have to understand, when that writer, and now correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is a good assumption, the writer, unless they're being super lazy, they're putting everything they have into that book because they want it to be successful. So if I'm writing a book, I'm going to give you everything I got on that topic because I want it to be successful. So when I call it, when he called it a soldier in your army, look at Dale Carnegie, however you want to pronounce it. Dale Carnegie took everything he had for each one of those books and put it into that book, the best he had. So when you read it and you study it, in conversation, sometimes I know where it came from. Sometimes I don't have a clue where that thought came from. Whether it was from a book in my subconscious that I read one time that I filed it away till later. That's a soldier in my army. When I finish it, boom, put that in the back. That's another soldier added to the list. So, books change the game. If you're reading the right stuff, we talked about this the other day. I'm not always. It's hard to say this. What's up, Jenny? I'm for continued education. I'm not necessarily sold that college is the end-all be-all. And some of y'all will hear that and you will turn out. I'm not saying college is bad. What I'm saying is continued education is more important than college. College is... I have my own opinions on college.
Is structured.
It is. You learn what they want, what somebody else says that they want you to learn. You don't really have a lot of choice in that. So with continued education, the way I say it, you get to choose, if you want to succeed in certain areas, you can come say hi if you want to. You're really funny. You get to choose. If you want to read a lot of fantasy books, if you want to read, self-help, if you want to read, what history, there's so much stuff that you can gain, but you choose it. I believe in continuing to educate yourself.
Well, go ahead.
The last thing on that, the only caveat to that is I say all the time, if you're a doctor, if you're a teacher, if you're a lawyer, I want you to have as much college as you possibly can. If you're cutting me open, if you're educating me or my children, future children, or if you're representing me in court for whatever reason, I want you on your A game. I want you to take as much as you possibly can. But outside of that, I feel like the vast majority of jobs out there, somebody had to do them at one point, right? Everybody had to do something before it became something that can be taught. on-the-job training, you learn far more than what you learn in school. Why? Because you're actually applying it. There's a hand-eye coordination. Your mind is making mental maps to that stuff. When you read it, it's good. It's theory. But it's until you put it into practice that you don't own it. So it's good that one day, 4 years from now, when I go work for someone, I hope I remember this. That's why I was excited about doing I only did one semester, but I wanted to do a lot more. While I was at college, I wanted to study stuff that they were teaching in business that I could apply to my business, because I wanted to see, this guy's like so interested. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Like, college does have its place. It just, part of me thinks that we were sold, our generation was really sold on that's the only way to succeed, and that's not accurate.
I'll say two things, and I agree with you. Two things. You have to continue to learn anyway, because that's growth. That's how you grow. Exactly. If you're not growing, you become stagnant. Stagnation leads to death. The second thing is, we were sold this idea that you go to school and go to college, find a job, get married, live happily ever after. That's not true, right? I went to college. Most people that have a college degree isn't even working in our industry. And that's no knock on them. But I just remember when I was in college, when undergrad was, of course I learned certain things, but I didn't need college to help me learn those things. I learned from my friends. I met cool friends and everything like that. I will not lie. Half the time I didn't go to class because class bored me.
We're wired.
Not saying, anybody that's doing that, not putting you down or anything like that. I'm just saying, in general, whereas we've been told college, after college, some form of college, you stop learning, or you stop needing to learn, and you brought up law and being a doctor and so forth. Doctors have to continuously learn. They have to keep being recertified by the board. The same thing with lawyers. Medicine changes all the time. So just because they went to med school doesn't mean that they're not learning. I have a friend that's a doctor that I haven't seen him in like 6 months because he has to make sure he's good for his board. And he's 40 years old, so he's been a doctor for at least 16 years. So, I know I'm getting off or whatever.
No, you're good. This is your thing.
No, this is your thing. It's our thing, I guess. I do want to say something about books and putting out a book. I tell people, authors, people all the time, not just authors, don't get caught up in how much it's going to sell, how much it's going to sell. All right, the books are going to reach the people that it needs to reach. So many people are getting caught up in, I want my book to be a bestseller right now. The first month is out. There's a lot that goes into that. A lot of times that
mostly marketing makes that.
And money. I will be honest. A lot of the times it doesn't matter. Like you have Rich Dad Poor Dad, one of the best-selling books of all time, still now.
Yep.
They're not. They're not. He's not. And he talks about it all the time. He's not on the New York bestsellers list. It's things that goes into that. Hello. It's things go into that. Now, like Amazon and certain other ones, Amazon is you get on a bestseller list numerous ways, but it's actually how many books were sold in an hour or in a week or something like that. So, I could put a book out right now and have all the Instagram buy it.
How are we doing, ladies? Okay.
I'm going to be on a bestseller list, right? But it doesn't have to sell anything else from there, So it doesn't. Like I say, I don't get tied into those bestseller lists. And I always say the book The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, The Alchemist. and other books such as classics, they took a long time to sell. The Prophet wasn't a big selling book back in the early 1900s.
But it still sells today.
Yeah.
Residual. It's probably the biggest difference. Because a lot of people are focused on that short-term money.
Yeah.
And they forget that there's actually a residual to it. Like if you put something out that'll last, like. But that's why it goes back to like putting everything you got into it. Because you want people to get something out of it.
Yes.
What's up, man?
And it's slow process is better than a fast process. Slow process builds up, and you're ready for that. And that's what these books did. The Alchemist didn't get international acclaim till Bill Clinton was on the cover of Time magazine, sitting in his desk, and the book was on his desk. You know, and so with that, I'm saying don't get caught up into. I want everyone to read this book. Everyone wants everyone to be focused on what they're doing. But if it's written well, passion behind it, it's going to catch the eyes of the people it reads, and then those people are going to market it for you. Because
word of mouth.
A lot of times,
100%.
that's the best marketing because that's authenticity. Yeah.
Like being in marketing, being in network marketing businesses, like we learn that all the time. Like people are far more likely to trust somebody that they know than a commercial, a professional, a famous person, like an ad. All those things are secondary. The best, strongest form. If I say I recommended a book to you, or I sent a picture to you the other day, you're now searching for that book because I was like the third or fourth person to recommend it to you, and now you're looking for it. Because word of mouth changes that much. It pushes that much. What's up, Jay Young?
Jay Young, what's up? Yeah, and but I mean.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Like I was just saying, like. Word of mouth, like that's the strongest form of advertising. So if you write something that connects with people, I feel like that's where the rubber meets the road for the most. Jay Young, just so you know, if you didn't catch earlier, I'm actually sitting here with Vid Buggs. That's such a cool name.
Vid
Lamate. Oh, okay. Is Buggs your nickname?
No, Buggs is the last name.
Oh, okay, it is.
Yeah.
I was thinking Muggsy Bogues. Whatever.
Yeah.
But you play basketball too.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with a published author, also owner of a publishing company. So I just wanted to. What's up, Lola? She goes to my church too. She has an entire tribe that goes to my church. They all serve all through. All her kids. Yeah, a really awesome family. And a huge. I talk about like loyal followers. Lola and Chandy. I'd be willing to bet they're the two that are currently watching. Oh, Justin, gotcha. Okay, cool. Chandy might have tagged out for a little bit. But yeah, basically, we're talking today about writing books. And if you ever thought about writing a book, ever, this is the guy that I know personally that you can reach out to and ask questions. He owns a publishing company, so he can help you along the process. He was talking about how to, put if money is an aspect within that, he can help you get more back in your pocket instead of the publishing company taking 90%.
Yeah, exactly. And not that you don't have to publish through my company. It's just knowledge. I always tell people to research. Even when people call me, I like to talk to every prospective author myself instead of my staff or my virtual assistant, I should say.
Yeah.
But
the Philippines?
No. But I tell them, and I've lost business this way, but I tell them, do your research. Don't trust when I'm just telling you, do your research. And a lot of times when people come back, and a lot of times with people that I've lost, get in a deal, and then they say, you know what, this is crap. I should have listened to you and went with you. But it's a learning process, and we all have to learn at our pace and in our own way. So
that's why my buddy Gary, you guys have seen him a lot. You'll actually see him again soon. We're gonna sit down again. He's in real estate. He teaches you everything you need to know where you don't even need him. The difference is he does it for a living. He's a professional at it. If you want peace of mind knowing someone else is going to work for you, that's what they bring to the table. Like, that's really what he's doing. He's giving you peace of mind knowing that your process will be taken care of the right way. You can do it yourself. You can do all this stuff yourself. But all of it it all comes down to like who you trust and are willing to do business with. You know, and we got like 10 minutes left. So you, Lola, and Jay Young, if you guys are both the two that are still on, what questions? Like, do you guys have any questions for? That's good. Do you have any questions? Like, have you ever thought about writing a book? Or I'm just trying to facilitate something here. It's been kind of a quieter day. I usually see this thing hit like upwards of 70.
Yeah,
I think we've only hit like 30 today so far, but you're getting the recording up to the website too, so that'll help. And YouTube.
It's all about you, brother. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be writing. Anything in your life, motivational, or you need some motivation, or anything, you know, ask your question. I'll say.
Yeah, throw it up. So while we got it, we'll probably do a quick little video afterwards. But tip of the day.
Tip of the day. Embrace the process. I know we have.
Oh, yes.
We have trust the process. And
there's actually a business over in St. Pete called that.
Trust the process.
Trusting the process.
Okay. I say, I've been thinking about doing an ebook out of my brain skills, but it works. What should take on ghostwriters? Ghostwriters are great. If you need a ghostwriter, go out. I mean, I know in the hip hop community, ghostwriting is frowned upon.
Taboo.
Do what you have to do. If you need someone to help you with writing, contact me at Vid Buggs or at _u_neat publishing on Instagram, and I'll help you out. But also, if you just want your own words, you can write it, and then that's when the editing process come in. A lot of people think that I'm terrible at writing. Grammar skills suck, sentence structure sucks.
Someone has to edit it eventually.
Yeah, so that's when the editing comes in. I mean, I'm a pretty good writer, but at the same time, you know, I send it to editors and they trash my writing. You know, because
I'm basic. I'm like borderline. Like, is this legit? I don't know. I don't even know what a conjugated verb means. I just remember that word once.
It's all good because in today's society, we write how we talk. I have a problem with saying that a lot. I say that all the time. So in my writing, I put that instead of who. You like people that, which is wrong. It should be people who.
Oh man, this should be interesting.
So anyway, this is my advice. So yeah, if you want a ghostwriter or ghostwriters, that's fine. But if you have things written down, I wouldn't worry about getting a ghostwriter. Just send it to an editor or have an editor, and you two or the group will work together and put your ideas, make them more clear.
That's cool. So how does that? I know we only got a handful of minutes left, but how does that process work? Like, I would write something, I give it to them, and it's an open communication. Like, they want to make sure that the words stay authentic, obviously, right, to the author. So they reach out when they read through it and like, hey, do they just make a bunch of edits and send it to you, and then you kind of communicate, like, or does it kind of change?
All right, this is the thing. So if you're just tuning in, you have to go back later. But this is what the difference between our publishing company and the traditional. Remember when you sign that, no problem. When you sign that contract for a traditional publisher, that manuscript is theirs. So they edit it however they want to with minimum feedback from you. Where we do, like I said, that manuscript is still yours. So we have a team of editors that edited it and put their suggestions. Like in Word you could task or whatever, and so
edits.
And so you may say, no, I want that. I meant to put this word in it because it has feeling. This is what I feel. So we wouldn't change that. But yeah, we work together, and what's important is you don't want one editor. Never want one editor, because when they read, when they read your work, the eyes and the brain starts thinking like you talk. So, like I said, I say that a lot. So if I use one editor, they would start missing a lot of facts in there that aren't supposed to be in there because of you see it so much. Your brain is trained to that. So you have a group of editors that work together. So they don't sit together, but they get the same document and they go through it together, and that's how you're gonna have a more successful write. I would tell you, every book has a typo somewhere. Every book, even the Bible, every book has a typo. It's the numerous errors that makes or break a book, an author, or a publishing company.
That's good. No, that's stuff that so you can save a lot of time by spell checking. That helps. As dumb as that sounds, that helps. And then once you have a process that you believe is what you believe to be complete, kick it on to you, and you guys edit it. And then when you guys both come to an agreement, publish it.
Yeah, editing. You're editing the book setup, which is the layout.
What's up? Razzie light?
It's the layout of the book, like how the chapters go, yada yada yada. Cover design. And the thing is, the editing never stops. It does not stop till the book is actually ready. So when a book is actually in a book form, it's proofreading, which is editing. You proofread, make sure everything's good. Because sometimes the printer will mess things up, right? My first book, the proof came to me and it was all these symbols. You know, so I had to.
Web dings.
I had to call them like, listen. So
I don't speak Martian.
So the editing never stops. But then when everything's fine, you last proofread, it's time for the book to come out. You set up a date, time, tell your friends, market it.
So when you see people out at like Barnes and Noble and stuff like that, and they're doing like signing, is that like part of the marketing? Like that's already paid for ahead of time?
Well,
or set up? I don't know how that's
a lot of times it's set up, and that's how a lot of authors make their money. Especially if they're signed to a traditional publisher. It's like the record industry. Artists do not make most of their money from the album sale. Touring is what makes them. That's their money. Most of it is their money.
Huh.
Yep.
It's good to know.
Yeah. So that's why I said, don't put out a book just put out and think it's going to sell. It might sell 100 million. I know we should probably short on time, but it might sell 100 million. But that author might only get 10,000 of that. That's why a lot of traditional publishers like James Patterson is now going into self-publishing, or what we call a hybrid publisher, which is essentially what we are, because you could just pay for editing service or whatever, but if you publish through us, you don't pay anything. You pay. So.
That's cool. Well, cool, man. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm hesitant. I don't even know if it ended up recording all the way on the video. I'm gonna pray that it did.
If it didn't. If it did, that's great.
Yeah. I always say at times, since I always have the platform, I do believe that regardless of your beliefs, I believe that God gave me this opportunity to leverage, to always give all the honor and glory back up. So for me, like, you know, I just want to push that up there, and like, I'm thankful for what I have. I don't take it lightly. I try to keep it clean. I try to keep it, you know, engaged and moving forward. So I hope you guys get a lot out of it. Lisa, if you get a chance, go back. I'm sitting here with Vid. He's a published author. He's also owns a publishing company. So if you've ever thought about writing a book, and my last 40 seconds available, I recommend going back to the beginning and just kind of watching through it, finding, you know, if you have any questions, if anybody has any questions, reach out to me or reach out to Vid under Vid Buggs. I have it tagged at the bottom. And any final words? 4 seconds?
Passion. Just follow your passions. It'll take you to places you don't even know exist. And embrace the process.
Yeah, love it. All right, I hope you guys have a good Saturday.
Later.
Oh no.